Much for that nice introduction. So I did see some people joining from Peru, so hello to everybody. But let me go straight to the presentation, and please let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, we see it. You must go to presentation mode.
Yeah, I'm trying to go there.
Excellent.
Can you see it now?
Yes, it's perfect.
Okay. I just wanted to be able to share with you a bit of our vision around safety, risk, and health here in Chile, and walk you through a bit of this journey that we're going through, and of course, the digitalization and how that impacts within our vision. So I was listening to Mike's presentation, which, by the way, I found very interesting, and I agree with a lot of the aspects that he did mention. And it's quite funny because you'll see some of those aspects of also reflected in this presentation. So once again, I'm the lead, I'm the head of safety and risk for Anglo American in Chile. And this is what, this is just something that highlights the vision that I have for our organization here. So we're undergoing this transformation. And what we're doing right now is shaping our organization towards the safety and occupational health of the future by developing and driving transformational mindset shift of the way corporate leads and manages safety whilst embracing our operating model and organizational model. So all this fancy wording means at the end of the day, that what we're trying to do here is to really transform the way we manage safety and health towards the future of what we want to do. When some people ask me, so where do you see safety going or your team going 5 years from now? I say, well, hopefully we're running out of a job. That's my typical answer, because once we truly are able to embed safety and health within the organization, there will not be more need of people or officers or safety professionals walking around all the time, but rather just to manage and handle a management system, as Mike said, that has to be well implemented accordingly to the organization, the size, the maturity, etc. So if we look at our strategy, which is fully aligned with Anglo American's strategy here, we do focus on people, the portfolio, and innovation. It has become a really, really big area or big pillar within our strategy. What do we do when it comes to people? We put people at the center of everything that we do. And of course, for us, and as you all know, Anglo American has a zero harm vision. But when we really talk to our people, we actually want to go beyond that zero harm vision. We have a number of really big initiatives around these, around security, safety transformation, or management systems, occupational health exposure, trauma and emergency care, wellness. We have a number of different initiatives that we're working around to help people get the levels of competency and get ready to really face the risks of the future. Of course, we also are ensuring that now we walk towards a very integrated and transversal model that allows us to conduct a predictability way of preventing the risks and the incidents of the future. So we're working really hard on that end. When we look at all of these things, of course, innovation has to play a key role, because if without that, we continue to do a lot of things manually. And when we do so, well, we lose a lot of time. We don't do it at real time. We just have to wait. And a lot of things can happen as we continue to do things on a manual basis. So with that said, the first thing that I maybe would like to, I don't know, how do I move this? But bear with me. Maybe the first thing that I want to walk you through really quickly is just the whole transformation process that we're going. So this is part of our strategy. It's we're aiming to be challenging, transform, and understand the way we achieve safety. So for us, when we talk about safety, we don't talk about that the excellence of safety is the absence of incidents, but rather we believe that it is the presence of competencies. So the fact that we don't have injuries in our workplace is just a consequence of the management and a consequence of the leadership that we can generate within our organization. So for us, in order to truly lead towards this transformation, we need to revision our values. We need to change our mindset in terms of what do we believe safety is. So we want to move away from people being the cause of incidents to being actually the strongest link of our chain. We also have to reset our strategy and the approach that we typically have. We are known as organizations that are very highly compliant with procedures, standards, etc. But we actually want to reset that strategy to have people much more empowered and competent in order to assess risks. We need to realign our leaders. We need to realign those practices. Mike was saying earlier that it is very important that when we want to go through a transformation, a cultural transformation, everybody aligns all the way from the bottom up and up to the bottom. So that is precisely what we're doing. We need to refocus our processes and our performance. We cannot aim to spend the same amount of time and efforts in incidents that are not high potential incidents, but rather just common incidents, than spending more time towards the incidents that can really impact people's lives. So we are not saying here that we don't care about little incidents. We do. They are important, but we have to balance the time, the effort, the actions, the engineering that we use behind those that can really impact people's lives. We also have to re-engineer our systems. And I'm talking about our risk system, because we want to generate people that are empowered, that are questioning constantly our status quo. We want to see our procedures changing if they have to change. We want to see people even breaking a procedure if that will make them safer. But they have to call it out, they have to raise their hands, and they have to let us know that this is happening so that we can improve. And in order to get there, of course, we need to reskill. We need to make sure that all people have the right competencies, the right knowledge, the right training, so that we can start giving them all these tools for them to start questioning if they have to our own systems in order for us to become an organization that is resilient. And of course, this is just one big milestone for us, but in a long-term strategy, we have another higher level of safety maturity that we call it restless. We want to get to a restless state when we are continuously and actively looking for more. What is so important for us is that we have a really strong engagement and communication plans, because we need to make sure that we are getting to every single angle in our organization. And that, of course, includes our contractors, which, by the way, we're changing that name to strategic partners, because they are as important as anybody in this organization. And in order for us to make this possible, we need to fully embrace our operating model and our organizational model. So with this introduction, I can take you now to our digital strategy that, of course, is going to help us accelerate and support these changes within our organization. So I know a bit confusing here, and I won't stop in each one of these icons, but I just wanted to help me read this from the left to the right. So on the left-hand side, you're going to see our management systems, right? Everybody has this. We have our operational risk management process, or global standards, technical standards, risk assurance. We have a program that is called Learning from Incidents, which is basically the program that helps us in conducting investigations and learn from them. Of course, I did mention our operating model, or Elimination of Fatalities program, which is a program that has been run in Anglo-American for the past couple of years or at least. SHIWAY, which aims and mimics ISO now 45001. And our Safety Transformation Program, which is what I just presented to you, and our organizational model. So we take all those core elements for us, and then we start prioritizing and identifying the things that we really need to improve on, the analysis that we want to do. And with that, we identify some solutions. So one of them is real-time DCM, Digital Control Monitor, which I will explain in a bit of detail later on. We have digitalization of controls. We have a system that is called Occupational, that what it does is it helps digitalize all of our risk system, all the way from the baselines, the boat times, the JRAs, to all the documents that are needed within that process, including the feedback process. We have another project that is called Dynamic Risks, that what it does is takes into account or critical control monitoring process, but at the same time, it takes inputs from assurance, it takes inputs from different elements, including incidents, that will allow us to know exactly whether our controls are at risk or not. We have an e-health hub that I'm going to also talk to and be a bit more specific in terms of COVID. And also we do have the Advanced Driver Assistance System, which is ADAS. That is a system that has different devices that I know other companies do have too. But what this is doing is aiming to help us control and manage the way people drive the different vehicles or equipments that we have. And of course, Isometrics becomes our database where we input and put all of the information and data that we have within the organization when it comes to safety, health, risk, environment, among others. So what do we want to do with the data? We want to make sure that we have a very robust data analytics process, predictive data model, and data visualization. So at the end of the day, as also Mike was saying, people or workers or users are the most important end user for us. So we need to make sure that any initiative, any project, anything that we develop is a user-based experience type of initiative, meaning that when we think about all of these things, we need to make sure that the end user is really enjoying this, is really using this. And we do have our IROC, which I don't know if you know, but this is our remote operational center, integrated remote operations center, where we're going to be able to visualize all of these technologies and digitalization in one screen. Of course, we also have a big piece in training, which we call immersive training, because nowadays, as you know, training in a classroom is no longer possible as it used to be. So now we're using virtual reality, LFI 3D animations, interactive animations, and 360 virtual school, among others. So with that, and conscious of time, I'll just highlight a couple of those digitalization or digital initiatives that we have. And this is one of them, 3D animations for continuous learning, or LFI process. So basically, as many others are currently doing, we are using 3D animations to show the learnings from different incidents. And with that, we're aiming to get to everybody in the organization so that they can actually learn and go back and check again when they need to. So we also have a big initiative in the organization where everybody is getting a mobile device or a tablet that will allow them to access to all of our systems digitally. So instead of sending emails or sending cards or doing anything manual, we are currently using this, and we're going to be able to show videos such as this. I won't show the whole video. Sorry. I won't show the whole video because I know there is some time limits today for this presentation. But I guess where I'm trying to go here is to show you that digitalization and technology is here to stay. And we have to keep using these tools, including digital twins that we have already created in our operation and that we're going to be using in order to train people also when it comes to safety and health. Another big project that we have here is called DCM, Digital Control Monitoring. So as you all have within your organizations, we do have a baseline. We have identified or major risks. Within them, we identify our critical controls. So right now, a high number of those critical controls are done, the monitoring process is done manually. Yes, although we upload all the information into Isometrics, it's done manually. So what we're doing right now is we're in a process where we are digitalizing all of our critical controls. We are connecting them into a platform here. And with that, we are going to be able to have a real-time information process that is going to be situated in our IROC, where basically The operator is going to be able to see real-time, 100%, 24/7, how our controls are performing. And of course, we're going to have a TARP associated to that, so that in case, you know, we start racing or having issues with any of our critical controls, we can automatically action or something that will stop it escalating to the next level. So this is probably one of our most inspirational and important projects that we currently have, because this is going to really, really help us understand whether our critical controls are stable, are reliable, and are robust enough for our organization. Another one that I was mentioning is ADAS, the Advanced Driver Assistance System. So basically what it has a number of different components, as you can see here on the right-hand side, that allows us to check different things such as fatigue, speeding, distractions, etc. And I know lots of organizations have this already, but what we're doing through this is we are creating or generating a couple of KPIs that are going to help us whether you have a high risk or a risk tolerant driver, which is one of them. And the other one is one that is going to help us predict fatigue within the future days of practice. So basically what we're doing is that we are renewing the different devices that we have constantly in order to send us different alerts, again, real time, on screen, so that we can action before the incident occurs. Finally, one of the most important things that we've been doing here, as any other organization too, due to the pandemic, was how to manage COVID. When we started this process as anybody else, of course, we did everything manual. I still remember it was March the 18th of 2020 when we decided that we needed to do a checklist at the beginning of the shift in order to check for some symptoms. And what was that? It was literally a piece of paper that we had printed out and had people filling in. A few days later, we had it online and we were able to launch it. Then we realized that we wanted to help people via phone or some way so that they can also ask questions and help them. So we started this whole system with the help of Cognitiva, where we were able to put all of our different controls around prevention, identification, and screening, consultation, testing, tracing, quarantining, monitoring, and then going back to work through different systems, such as a smartwatch application that allows you to know whether you are in a hazard area, whether you are too close from other people, and that, of course, gets all the information from the people that you've been working with or in some proximity to, so that you can do some traceability afterwards. We do have a whole call center that is allowing us to conduct a proper case manager, where we have doctors, we have nurses, we have professionals, with a whole system that is having the data of all of our workers, all of our contractors and their families, in order for them to be able to access to all of this technology. So for us, COVID, of course, impulsed and made us move much faster when it comes to digitalization, because we really, really needed to be as expedite as possible in order to answer and to help our people. So for us, and in the health hub or in the health side of the organization, COVID was the beginning of the digitalization area, but that didn't stop there, because now for us, we have to make sure that all of this process of digitalization around COVID is also transversal to all of our occupational health programs and plans. And we're doing that, and we are using isometrics, as I said before, in order to make sure that everything that we need from our workers, the medical history or hygiene monitoring things or medical tests, everything is loaded into our isometrics platform. But what happens then?
1 minute, okay.
Thank you. I'm finishing right here.
Good.
So at the end of the day, we are developing a digital health hub or e-hub that at the end of the day is going to help us have health chatbots, telemedicine, health applications, wearables, and different things that are going to allow us to move towards the future when it comes to health. We're going to start including more modules in there, such as smoking cessation program, weight loss control, etc. So for us, when it comes to digitalization, we need to make sure that we're able to sustain these changes and to support the transformation that we're going through as an organization. So thank you so much for the time, and back to you.